live again, guys. I am sorry for the technical difficulties that we are having. The scene was just much too intense for the interwebs to handle, but we are going to continue on and see what Aerel is doing, and hopefully it can handle it this time. As she steps forward, blade drawn, looking down on this bird.
I just do the one thing I can do. As the old friend once said, "Sorry, little chicken. Been a bash." I cut Nutweed's head off. Just straight it off. Oh wait, oh yeah, you cut the chicken's head off after I said that line.
Freya screams. Seems to be the only thing filling this room, echoing off the chamber walls.
Altair just like arms. Yeah, like she hangs on to her and just is like holding her and rocking her back and forth, like running her fingers through her hair, just whispering over and over again, "I'm sorry. We're so sorry."
Around you, everything is shaking. It stops for a moment. Time seems to stand still. And then you're falling. The creature you're in is crashing to the ground. You could see the wind rushing by your faces. Need everyone to roll me a reflex save into the tower.
Okay.
We can't get in.
Oh, we can't.
Yeah. Oh, you cannot get in. Just kidding. No. I'm going to do all your guys' rolls now.
Okay.
Yeah, all right. Okay. That'll work.
Sorry about that.
Good vibes to the DM. Good vibes to the DM.
Good vibes. Give her
I
all the
imagine
vibes.
I'm at a penalty on account of holding a woman. Not paying attention to the world.
Clinging to your wife. Again, Rukhari, you're able to swing your wings out to balance yourself. Aerel, I'm sure, catching on to him as this happens. And then just a deafening crash. Water begins to fill in this area. Salty. Luckily, this thing seems to have crashed into the port that was right there, having not gotten to the city, but you guys are all dazed, your head's spinning. The only sound echoing around in your mind is just that last scream that you heard Freya utter, ripping through you. And then you're waking up somewhere else. Mm-hmm. You don't know how much time has passed. You're on a cot. Mm-hmm. You see a canvas roof above you. Hear the sounds around you speaking in languages that you don't quite understand, can't catch. Maybe it's just because your head is still ringing. But you look around and Rukhari, you see Aerel on a cot next to you. Pekka, Altair, everyone is around you. But Freya is nowhere to be seen.
I feel hungover. I didn't even drink
what was
anything.
It, that key last night?
Oh man.
Where is she?
Where's Freya? Altair, get up. We gotta find your girl.
I feel like Altair gets up so fast she almost falls over.
Easy there.
Okay. What? God.
You're bandaged. You guys have all been healed, but where you're at does not look familiar in the least. Not someplace that you've been before. It seems like a tent of some kind, hastily put together. A fire off in one corner, warming the place. Very austere. There's not much in here besides your cots and that flame. But you'll notice at the front of this tent stand 2 guards just looking at you, not saying anything, just watching.
Altair, like, looks at one of the guards and is just furious, but, like, in that, like, quiet rage that I imagine would come off intimidating. So I'd like to make a coercion roll if I can. And as she's just like, where is my wife?
Yeah, coercion roll. They say nothing, just continuing to stare at you, looking at one another. You're not sure if they don't understand you. Freya was always the one that sort of translated for you.
Alright,
What
I'm
a-
gonna try. I slowly woke up. Since they don't understand common, I'm gonna try Draconic. And I'm gonna say, have you seen a woman with an eye patch walking past y'all?
One of them looks at you. He seems to understand. Speaking Draconic, you'll notice he has orange eyes. She is elsewhere right now. You'll be rejoining her soon.
Okay.
Sit tight.
I nod and walk back and I say, well, she's somewhere. We just have to wait on her. And she just falls back down. You want me to ask them some more questions?
Are we prisoners?
I literally asked that question Draconic.
And like I imagine just like Altair's just like glaring at them behind her and just like, if a storm cloud could be a person.
Rukhari is like immediately behind her, trying to be the hype man. Got his wings up, all kicked off.
See, when birds and cats team up, we are unstoppable.
You two look like I sound. Terrible.
The one that speaks
That's
Draconic,
someone to the point.
ducks out of the tent, leaving you. Just leaving the one that doesn't seem to understand you guys. But he just continues to stare, leaving you to talk, to plan.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Weirdly enough, I think one of them understood me because I took Draconic. I spoke Draconic. Apparently, he says Freya is somewhere around here. I don't know about the other one. I only know Draconic, Common, and Elvish.
And you asked him if we're prisoners.
Well, wait, did I ask him? The guard that left or the guard that's sitting there?
You did ask.
That couldn't understand me.
Yeah, and then he left instead of answer.
He did.
Yeah.
You're not quite sure what that means. But I think it's safe to say that they're not going to let you walk out.
Well, okay. We need to figure out a way to let us walk around for a bit. Either pretend we need fresh air or something. And they can guard us until we find a way to get rid of them.
There's only the one guard. and there's 4 of us.
That is true.
Do we have our weapons, out of curiosity?
No, gone.
Okay.
Oh, Rukhari's pissed.
Right?
Oh,
That's a fancy-ass katana.
Does that disappearance extend to religious texts and holy symbols?
No, they seem to have left that.
okay.
So yes, I suspect that we are prisoners.
But for which side?
I imagine our initial employers. Given the tent.
Could be.
That is true. All right, I'm gonna go back over to the guy guarding, and I'm gonna just try Elvish and say, "Where'd your buddy go?"
Roll diplomacy. Or,
I
sorry.
can't.
It's just a thing.
I can't.
Okay. So we think we might be with the foreigners. Freya's missing. We don't have our weapons. We don't know how many forces are outside this tent. But she would look at Pekka. What happened? What were those black lines? What was... And she'd similarly look to Aerel, like, you spoke about spirits, and Nightwing. What do you two know about what happened to her?
Okay. I turn around to Altair, like, this is what I think's going on. See, Nightwing, I think that bird was possessed by yokai. Me and my family up in the Shinmin Mountains, we used to hunt those things. We used to hunt them down, and we used to kill them. What Freya was doing, what he almost did, sounded like she was possessed by one of those yokai. Do I know what it looks like? No. Do I know what it looked like? No. I wish I did. But somehow I think it possessed the bird, and Nightwing is I think connected to Freya. So he had to kill the bird in order to set Freya free.
The bird, Nightwing, is the source of her magic. If it was corrupted or tainted.
That symbol that your wife, that Freya went up and touched, is of Mafala.
Who or what is that?
She is the queen of the night. One of several who follow the Samodus into the hells. But her followers are particularly potent in dealing and creating the undead.
By the
It
mother's
may
mercy.
be that her magic reacted badly with the channel that was apparently opened, and I suspect that the big walking statue was essentially an undead construct, given the amount of bodies around.
I think it is deeper than that. You all saw the magic that she performed when we entered she summoned spirit and forced it to die so it would deal that damage in a wave with its pain and anguish. I don't know about the rest of you, but I could feel just how unnatural and evil even that was. I have seen her practicing before, but only the after effects. So I'm wondering, whatever happened, this yokai possessing Nightwing or whatever it was, it has been with her for at least a few months. Is there a way to purify the familiar so maybe she won't be tempted down this path anymore, or?
I expect there might be.
Pekka would wander through his occult and religious knowledge to sort of see how unique a power that would be.
I mean, I imagine we need to find a member of some priesthood. I know there are some mountain monks in my homeland, but they tend to be on top of mountains. So a bit of a pain. But I suppose there might be just as many in this land.
My old master might be able to aid her in understanding the nature of the cycle, but he is far from here, and it has been quite some time. We did not part on the best of terms.
There are
Suddenly the tent flap opens and walks someone you haven't seen before, except for the first time when you saw his figure above that lantern festival. Wings, white, tall, looking at all of you. No Freya, though. Go ahead, Daniel. Oh, if I had audio, that would be great. Sorry about that.
Good to go?
Good to go.
So, it comes to my understanding that something happened. Who would like to fill me in on their turn of events?
Where is my wife?
I ask the questions first. I don't know if you know how this works, but usually someone asks a question and then an answer is proposed, not another question. If you're not familiar with this, you can sit down.
I am going
and
to
wait your
answer
turn.
nothing until I know where my wife is and that she is safe.
We get the concept, trust me. We climbed the big statue. Some weird stuff happened. One of our friends tried to kill us because she touched a weird mark on the wall. We ended the thing that was manipulating her, and then the whole damn thing fell.
All right.
Oh, so who in the hell are you?
I was just about to ask that question. Who are you?
All right, only fair. I'm Salix. You are within the confines of my army right now. And who may all of you be?
Rukhari Tsukaba.
Aerel Caerdonel.
Most know me as Pekka Kylemakki.
Altair Besima. And once again, where is my wife?
She's safe. So, who are you working for?
We're working
Excusez-moi, s'il vous
for
plaît. Répétez,
The
s'il vous
we're
plaît.
working for your
Go ahead,
forces.
Aerel.
Those in need.
Okay, so everybody was talking at once. He's going to point to Rukhari. Can you please tell me who you were working for?
Alright, you know those guys that attacked a town while they were celebrating? Yeah, those fuckers.
Oh. Well, that makes things awkward.
Yes, it does. It just a little bit.
Hmm. Anyway. So
We were hired by those within the walls with the aid of that sea elf. That's who gave us the job.
What was your job?
To disarm the rune within the Titan.
And did you succeed?
She just looks at the others.
I mean, we made it
Well-
fall. I don't know if that's success.
If your wife is alive and well, we probably did. Since she took that within herself.
Whose wife?
Aerel points to
Altair
Altair.
just stares.
Like my mom, my other mother. I call her my other. Okay, I'll just gonna stop talking.
Oh no, please. You said your name is Aerel. I do enjoy
Yes.
hearing. He would switch to pure Elvish. I do enjoy hearing another Elven talk. So please do go on. Tell me your version of events.
Well, I remember this crazy old woman that won't shut up. So we fought her homies. I got wounded. Rukhari got wounded. Then my mom Freya walked up to the room thing put her hand to it, and she started acting weird. I think she was possessed by yokai, but I couldn't tell. So after an altercation where we're trying to stop her, and Pekka here, cast restoration, I turned to the bird. I said, "Sorry, little chicken. It's been a bash." Shot the bird's head off. Titan came down. We woke up here in this strange place without my mother. Now, will you please, sir, tell me and Altair where she is? And she's like trying not to get mad, but she's close to doing it.
You've missed your calling. I feel like you should definitely have taken barding more serious, because you have talent in storytelling. Now, your wife, your mother, she was involved in something evil. Something that persisted before she touched whatever that was. That acted more of like an amplification, if you would. Things have to have a basis to root into before they can, just take someone over like that. So I'm going to bring her in. But I want you all to remember, she's most likely not the woman you remember.
Then we'll bring her back.
By all means. And I will support you in that quest. But just be prepared.
At your word, the tent flap opens and a half-orc brings in who you guys know as Freya, but those veins are still there, standing dark against her skin. But her familiar is no longer there. But Aerel, you'll be glad to know you didn't kill her.
Altair would rush to her and just again look her over, sort of not exactly touching her face, but doing that thing where her hand just sort of cups her cheek, and she's just like, "What has happened to you? Whatever it is, we can get through this. We can fix it."
I look over at the guest in the tent. He seems to make me very uneasy. I don't seem to be comfortable with him here. And I look at Altair. I'm okay.
Yeah, Freya, they've been keeping you in a tent alone, but you felt your familiar killed again when you awoke after it had reformed itself. Pain was excruciating, but it's safe to assume that the people in this camp are killing your familiar to keep whatever patron it's speaking to away from you. Rukhari, go ahead. You were going to say something.
Oh, no.
Altair looks to Aerel and Pekka. She's just hanging on to Freya, just with that silent question of do you guys know what this is?
It
Can
does
I
seem
roll?
effects have been rather prolonged, but at least she seems to be mostly reacting as we are used to. There is hope.
Altair will notice I'm starting to cast a spell. It's one she's actually familiar with. It's message.
She would then like put her like position her body so like Freya's hands aren't visible by Salix.
Can you roll me a perception check?
Yeah.
Augie, Sam, sorry.
Salix, you've spent enough time around wizards, around magic. You know when something's being cast. You also know when people are trying to hide something. You can tell
I
something's
wonder
going
why.
So as she starts casting her spell, the shadows in the room just become a little bit darker, and everyone's like, it would probably get just a little bit more dim, like someone's holding something over all the lighting sources. As he looks towards her, I don't know what spell you're intending to cast, but if you intend to keep your head, I would stop.
Freya,
So
it's
now you
softer
want-
now, but you can hear it. Kill the angel.
Speaking of taking heads off, where's our stuff? We seem to be missing quite a bit here.
It's right outside. As soon as I can figure out who actually hired you, you're free to go. Because as far as I can tell, you say it was us, but me and mine have no recollection of employing you.
Crap, that means we're not getting paid either, are we?
Was
So-
It
it,
was.
In
Sam,
all
what was
honesty,
the name?
what you
Go
did
ahead.
do did benefit us. So, I'm not going to be hard pressed to part ways with some coin. After all, we only liberated from slavers to give back to the people. But I need to make sure that you're not going to possibly be framed for something in the long run. Cover all my bases now, so it doesn't come back to bite me in the ass later. So, magic user, tell me, who are you talking to? Who's rattling around in that head of yours?
I already told you. I don't know.
Altair puts her hands gently on Freya's to like steady them, and again just seems to be like silently putting her strength into that physical touch. And she looks at Salix coolly. We were hired by a man named Aerel, who worked with a woman who again was a sea elf that said that she worked for you, or at least your forces.
She was quite interesting. She had a neat sword.
She was also beautiful.
Are the slaves who were within the walls, were they able to evacuate safely?
Every slave was evacuated and accounted for. And that, I take it, is because of you. He'll look to Freya, stopping himself. You four? And then look to Altair, Rukhari, Aerel, and Pekka in turn, excluding Freya from the four.
All of us were essential.
Rukhari's seems to be striking a chord with you. Maybe a dissonant one. Something doesn't seem right. He's saying that he's liberating slaves, but all you've seen is destruction. You probably feel your anger growing. You don't know if he's lying to you.
And the citizens within the walls, how did they fare? Should we expect to see a burning pile of bodies? The citizens, I would imagine.
Are you talking about the warlords and their higher-ups?
Talking about the people.
A city is made of more than just warlords and nobility. Merchants, peasants, mothers, children.
We don't touch
all
anybody that
just
doesn't raise arms to us. So are you telling me that you're in support of slavers? That you're okay with slavery as a whole?
Because my dude, I've seen your folks slaughter a town that was pretty much completely unarmed. You'll forgive me if I'm a little hesitant to trust you when you say that all you're doing is good, that you're only killing the bad guys.
So, with war, nothing's good. You just have the lesser of two shitty situations. Now, you are free to walk out of that tent flap right there and talk to everybody that comprises this army. Every single soul out there is a former slave. And the only reason that I am here is to lead them along their quest to free everybody else that has been taken from them at a prior time. If you can walk out there and find one ex-slave, just one, and convince them to stop in their quest, I will stop right now. I will turn the army over to your well thought out plans, and I'll be on my way. Go ahead. Agi, please show him to the barracks.
Ones like you do not understand slavery.
Woman, you will shut up.
You are speaking to a former slave here, and yet you are already threatening to behead her when you speak of freedom and idealism and she disagrees with you. How are you no less a tyrant than the ones you claim to go against?
She worships an evil being that rattles around.
Not by her choice or free will. Is that not obvious to you by now?
How is it not obvious to you that a choice is made to worship something like that? It doesn't just weasel its way in under calm guises. An offer was made. She accepted for power, most likely. And now she's paying the consequences. So, again, if you would like to take a step outside, sir.
Salix, the teacup in your hand.
Actually, I have a better
shatters.
question. Where do you lead from?
Sorry, say one more time.
Where
I
do you
didn't hear
lead
that.
from? Where do you lead from?
Oh, the front lines.
Oh, good. So you look into the eyes of the people you kill all along the way.
Every time.
And it doesn't bother you at all?
Everyone does.
Good to know you have some line. Killed women and kids before? You said everyone who takes up arms against you gets killed, so any one of them?
Rukhari.
Have you killed women and kids before?
No.
Yeah. And I'm willing to admit it.
You can see Freya growing a little agitated. Salix, you had made the shadows dim the lights. The flames seem to grow larger. You can feel a strange anger coming from her.
So, like, Altair sees this, and she looks at Salix, and her demeanor has shifted from, like, the one of just, like, anger to one of more, like, there is a bigger situation here, if that makes sense. So she'd look at him and be like, I understand why and how you think your actions are righteous. But what I need you to understand is that you are also foreigners who know nothing of our ways, our country, and how things have operated so far. While you may believe that you are doing things with the best of intentions, they have consequences that ripple out further than you can understand. Once again, my wife was a slave. And when you speak to her in the way that you are doing, you are acting just as those who have oppressed her before. We are unarmed. We came here to do a service for your army, and we have succeeded in doing that service. So please, can you stop, again, the threats, the antagonization? None of this is helpful, and it doesn't get you whatever it is that you want. And she'd, like, look at Rukhari, giving a look of, play nice.
Augie. Where is she?
Yeah. She hasn't come back yet.
All right, then. How much was your fee?
Sam, how much was the fee we had negotiated?
Figure that out. 200 gold.
250 gold.
Of course it was. Oh, let's see.
Freya, what are you doing right now?
I am trying to contain my own anger. I'm trying to focus it on something that isn't directly going to get his or this woman's attention that's in here with us. Realizing that very quickly something is probably going to go very wrong between what I am hearing, my lack of control earlier, and just his general attitude and my responses. And the fact that I
Aerel.
have no outlet for it right now.
Yeah, Aerel, you know that look in Freya. That's the same look that she gave you when she was about to attack you, but this time it's directed towards Salix. There's something still controlling her. It's still there whispering in her mind. You could warn Salix if you choose. But Altair, you're right there with Freya. You can probably feel that she's about to lose control. Being trapped in a small room isn't going to help.
Mr. Salix, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
She's that yokai where is inside of her? It's about to attack. Thought I'd warn you.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Altair is completely focused on Freya and is just like, look at me. Stop it. Look at me. You're here with me. You're not there, okay? Focus here on the now. Focus on my voice. Have it drown out whatever else is. You are in control and you are stronger than you know. And you know this. I love you, please.
Salix completely ignores her and turns to Rukhari and Aerel and Pekka. I apologize for losing my temper. It's stressful times. I understand your viewpoint, and like I said earlier, in war there are no winners. So yes, in a battle, innocent people have their lives lost. Happens on my side, it happens on their side. Fortunately, there's no way to prevent that from happening. The people that have comprised this army are former slaves, like Freya back there. And I have been asked by them to free the other slaves on this continent. And so I will. I apologize again if this goes against your viewpoints, but this is something that I see as a justified cause. Your money and your money and your effects are outside. A word of caution, though. People that tend to try to harm you, I wouldn't sleep too close to them at night.
That hangs in the air. As you look, Freya's still struggling. The half-orc comes back in, carrying your gear, your effects. Sort of drops them unceremoniously on one of the free cots and takes up station back by the door. You can see that your katana is there, Rukhari, Aerel, your sword, Pekka, your bag, your things, your religious symbols. Altair, your scimitar as well. Everything is there. Should you guys choose to go pick them up?
Rukhari definitely does. I mean, he carefully inspects the sword for any damage, any tampering.
You notice something on the hilt. Crack. Sneaking its way up. The binding torn. Your katana was always lighter than you ever thought it would be, lighter than ones you trained with. You just wrote it off to being fine workmanship. But as you look closer at this hilt, it looks hollow. There's something inside of it.
The hell? Aerel?
Yeah. I walk over. Yeah, but I grab my things. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's wrong?
Come here for a second.
Okay.
As these guys... Oh, go ahead.
He's just like, I think there's something in my sword.
May I look at it?
Yeah.
I take Rukhari's sword to see what's wrong with it.
The hilt has split.
Well, found the problem. The hilt split. You want me to dig around, see what I can find?
Yeah. I get the feeling you might know more about weapon construction than I do.
Alright. I dig around with my finger, see what I can find.
The hilt breaks open, shattering. Much to your dismay, Rukhari.
I'm sorry.
The binding falling. There's a scroll embedded within the hilt. The paper old. It doesn't look like it looks like something that's been in there for a while.
Don't worry about it, Aerel. It's already broken. I know one of these oafs probably dropped it or something.
Yeah, but
I'll read it.
Yeah, I take it out and unroll it.
Seeing them pull the scroll out, I will try to distract Celix and the woman at the door. So I walk over and very quietly I will whisper in his ear. I go, "You ask who's whispering in my mind right now? I can tell you."
Celix continues to ignore her. And he looks at Pekka, and
It's
in Celestial, he'll say,
"She says you're going to fail."
"And what do you know of this?"
Can I roll a perception to hear this?
Yes. You got cat ears.
Yeah.
You hear this.
So, like, when she says that about Pharasma, like, Altair just looks upset. And is like, she doesn't say anything, but she looks upset.
Celix will, look her in the face, look her directly in the face. And say, "I've met Pharasma. I felt her embrace when she stitched me back together from death. She has blessed me in this world and sent me on a quest that you won't have no idea about. I've seen her Dustwalkers tear a monolith down with a mere glance. You know nothing of Pharasma because you have been abandoned by her embrace. When you die,
Yes.
you will not be reincarnated. Your soul will remain here and wander this land forever alone.
I smile at him
So
and I go,
I feel-
yet. Go ahead.
So I feel like at that, like, Altair would stand and sort of pull Freya back and be like, you know, I was born of the boneyard. I serve the psychopomps. If you claim to serve Pharasma, Our Lady of Graves, then you should know better than to be so arrogant as to claim absolute authority on anything regarding her domain.
Oh, I know.
And you, and she like looks at Freya, should not speak of Our Lady of Graves without knowing the implications of what that means.
But that is what this said.
Pekka, you've seen the symbols, and you could see the runes still written on her. This is not Pharasma's domain.
What you have done is so outside of the cycle. You are being lied to.
But he is destroying the cycle. He is destroying the patrons. He destroyed Nightwing. She cannot come in here.
Would anybody like to
Nightwing
fill me
had-
in on what a Nightwing is?
Nightwing
It is
had
my
to be-
familiar.
But Aerel, you know that this familiar is being controlled. It's not just a familiar. And you know that yokai like to lie.
Mrs. Salix, I wouldn't trust anything out of my mom's mouth right now. She lying.
So like again, Altair looks at Freya and is like, nothing of what your familiar has done is remotely of the domain of Pharasma. Pharasma is the comfort that comes at the end of one's life. She is the one who blesses those who give birth. She is the one who holds over the cycle. She does not care if death is righteous or if death is sudden or how death comes. It is about the cycle. But what you don't listen to it.
But why would she
Rukhari.
avoid me?
There is.
We'll get back to that. Go, Pekka.
There is something here that is knocking on the edge of my mind. Those symbols that we keep seeing, and he just can't help but glance over at Freya. If my memory serves, and he's looking through the pages of his leather-bound book, where so he's trying to find a section but just not getting there. my father was once of the psychopomp Usher herself. But, well, if she was thrown out or ran away or otherwise, I do not know. But he came to rest in the layers of hell. Just because one starts on a bright, clear road does not mean that dark and rain and nighttime doesn't fall. And we must all do our best to keep that campfire lit. There is brightness to be had. It just sometimes needs looking for.
Oh, it's wise words. We will all do well to heed them in the future.
Rukhari, do you unravel that scroll that you found, or have you just been listening
He does.
to the conversation?
He does.
It's a family tree. Ancestors, this person begetting that person. It just seems to go on and on, but your eyes stop at the end, near the bottom. What's your father's name? And then there's your name. Tsukaba. Written plain as day. Right there.
That's my name. That's my father's right there. It'll kind of go towards like the top of the list.
Yeah, it goes back. And you notice some of the names, you recognize some of the names of your family. Who had this sword? Rukhari. And how did you get it?
Do you want me to go over it in stream?
Go ahead.
So he's been calling himself a Ronin. That implies more than his actual upbringing. He's actually he's basically a street tough who happened upon a sword. Now, happened upon a sword. That's not quite right. His family, by and large, works in carpentry. And he followed different paths. He was kind of recruited from a young age to be kind of a street tough for some of the gangs that operated out of the boondocks before he lived. And so he's always had a hair trigger temper. He's always had violent tendencies. And one day he was at home with a little brother who was tending the family shop. Just, talking to passersby, trying to get some finely crafted Tengu woodworks. And Rukhari didn't hear the whole conversation, but it seemed a passing noble, someone finely dressed, got offended by something that he was being offered and struck his little brother. And Rukhari's not a good man by most standards, but he is the kind of guy who you mess with his family, things are gonna end badly for you. So he did, he picked up a nearby piece of wood and beat the noble about the head until he stopped moving. Not necessarily until death, just until he stopped moving. And it's only after, he got that out of his system that he realized, oh no, I might have just killed a noble. Which, bad news bears. So he ended up kind of resolving in that moment to not have this follow his family. So he took the guy's sword and he left. That's why he's in this foreign land.
Yeah. Your family's been there for as long as you can remember, in this very backwoods sort of village out in the middle of nowhere in Kwanli. And they said they've just always been there and you haven't really questioned it. But as your finger sort of trails up this scroll, it seems like it goes all the way back to the goddess Shizuru. And that puts you in line for the throne of Cowling.
He just looks... his beak is open, just... Oh no, see, that can't be right.
Rukhari, are you alright? You look...
Rukhari?
Now you're in a camp of strangers that are set to take out warlords, people that would make slaves. Do you choose to share this information in front of them?
Yeah, he's gonna, roll it up, stick it in his pocket, and he's just gonna lean over to Aerel. Not here. We're away from prying eyes and ears.
Okay. So, Aerel's picking up her stuff, and then she starts. You see her frantically looking for something. She's like, "What? Like, excuse me. Have you seen a white dragon patch? It's black and it had a white dragon on it."
Celeste will look to Augie and be like,
Augie looks confused for a moment.
And
then motions to something on the ground with her butt. Go ahead.
It's like she loves that patch. So my brother's took the turn before he died. Where to go? Oh. Then you're like, no. Excuse me for being dramatic. And she just picks it up from the floor and just quickly stuffs it in the bag, thanks. Just
dust on it. Stained the white.
Altera get her things last, and having observed the Rukhari's I guess awakening. I don't know. And
the burb has short circuited.
Yeah. So she would grab her scimitar and her, and pocket the gold and everything and just look at Salix like, are we free to go then?
Augie moves to block their way, the half-orc in front of the tent. She has a hand on her axes. Even that one. Looking at Freya.
It's not our concern.
Shakes her head, but...
Storyteller, is Freya still dominated at this point?
Let's do a will save. How often? Your familiar comes back every morning, correct?
Correct.
Yes, you are.
Okay.
But the half-orc moves aside. It seems like you 5 are free to go. If you're willing to turn your back and just walk out.
Altair would... Oh. Yeah. I was going to say, like, Altair would start to lead the way to go and just, like, look at everybody.
Wakashi no Katsudo need to converse.
I'm sorry, what?
What are we gonna do again?
Wakashitachi no Kosudo. It is who we are. A moniker, if you will.
It's a name. Okay. I thought you were insulting me in another language. It happens all the time. Salix will reach behind his back and grab a dagger out. And as he kind of spins it, he'll hold it hilt out towards Pekka. On it is inscribed the symbol of Pharasma. Since you are one of the ones to keep whatever, just take it.
I would gladly do so, especially since it appears we are similarly engaged, at least side by side against the Lady of Mists and Lies.
Right. Hopefully it helps out, and good luck with your friend. With that, Salix will kind of walk over to Augie, and you see them for one moment, and as he just kind of walks by her, like his wing passes her, and they both just kind of disappear into the shadow.
You guys are alone. The guards have not come back in. You don't know if they're outside listening, but you guys are just there by yourselves.
Well, I have to get a new handle made. Hopefully there are some half-decent swordsmiths in the area.
Let's just get out of
I
here.
wonder where their quartermaster is.
Let's hope for someone not here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can we please leave now?
Let's. Gears outside. Suit up. Get the hell out of here.
Altair's gonna keep a tight grip on Freya's hand. And I will say, like, it's one of those, like, you know, she's holding her hand, but it's like, with that, I know martial arts, you will have to roll a grapple check to disengage your hand from my hand. Good luck with that. Specifically to avoid the temptation of her randomly casting spells at people.
Aerel would walk by, but she would hug Freya and she would be crying. And
hold on, I have a question. Aerel, with your ability, does it allow you to detect evil on anyone? Like auras of evil?
Yes.
Yes,
Yes, I can. Yeah.
You would then notice that there is still a spell aura of evil around her. There is still something cast on her. It is not necessarily coming from her, but there is still something cast on her that is evil.
I mean, just the motions of those runes, the black veins beneath her skin, the blackening of her eyes, not fully dark yet. It's probably enough to say that something's up.
But I hug you back.
I say in your ear, I'm gonna find some way to get you out. I'm gonna find some way to free you. And then solo enough that I'm talking to the demon or whatever is inside you. I say, get ready for a fight because it's coming towards you, honey. And I release Freya and I leave and sit up.
Wait, before she leaves, because Altair's standing there. I feel like right after she says that, Altair would like grab her and pull her close. And then in her ear say, "Thank you. Everything you've done, everything you will do, it means more to me than you will ever know. And I love you dearly for it." And then she'd let her go.
Well, wow, okay, I thought I was gonna get killed. Oh, this is Aerel was like, I thought I was gonna get killed when you did that. I was like bracing myself for, but she nods.
My angry face and my happy face are the same.
Yeah. That's why Aerel almost, wear the pants, but she's just like, you're welcome. I'll get her back. It was the last thing I do. And she walks on out.
We'll do it together.
Internal fangirl screaming. Yes, you guys walk out. You're in the middle of this camp, and it does not seem like anyone tries to stop you as you head out. Not really sure where to go now. Do you go back to the city of Aliosh, which was just won by this army thanks to your help? Or just take to the road, try and find the next place to go? Probably seems like the better option, but Rukhari, you have information to share.
Right, yeah, like the first night they camp, he'll kind of take out the scroll, roll it out. So, found something in my sword. Say, yeah, that thing. It's a genealogy, family tree. And it's got my name on it. It's got my father's name on it. A couple of my ancestors. And right at the top there, it's in Tengu. It's it would be the goddess that the emperor is descended from.
I would move over to read it because I can read Tango. Can I roll a society to like check it, like to verify what he's saying?
I feel like Altair just like looks at Rukhari. So that would mean that you're
in line for the throne of Cowling.
So that's a good thing.
Altair would bow. It is an honor.
Oh, don't you start.
That's okay, because Pekka's bowing as well. He's too well brought up for that.
Freya actually laughs at this.
But
You'll have to get
Rukhari,
used to it.
it's a good thing. Why? Come on. I mean, you're in line for the throne. Wait. The Aerel had to sit here and think about it. Hey, let's think about this. Hold on. If Rukhari's in line for the throne,
This is good.
it's good.
You
But let's
remember
think about the
something, Aerel. Something that you've forgotten in your teachings. You've tried to forget what happened to your family, what happened to your entire clan. Tried to forget everything just to stop the pain. But the White Dragon clan, they had a task. They had something that they were set to do. And they were always looking to fulfill that role. That's one of the reasons why you believe they were wiped out. They're meant to protect the descendant of the goddess Shizuru.
Oh.
With their life, if need be.
Oh.
And it seems like the heir to the goddess Shizuru is right here. But they don't have to know that.
Is Aerel acting okay, or is she reacting to this knowledge? Or this realization?
She's reacting. She's kind of like quiet. After like she finally remembers what her family been tasked to do over the years. She kind of, you hear her go, oh. Then another, oh. And her face literally just turns completely pale when she remembers. And her clan patch, like, can I be excused? And you see her get up. She walks 30 feet away from the camp. You don't know. I don't know if y'all can notice this or if Freya can notice, but you see that her hands are like encased in cold. Like y'all have never, in all your years, y'all have never seen her hands like this. She just walked 30 feet. Her hands are like shaking as she remembers what happened to her clan. And she remembers why they died. And you hear this bellowing scream as she unleashes Ray of Frost. She just unleashes it right in front of her. She just keeps doing it like Yennefer did in the last episode of The Witcher. Just kept doing it over and over and over and over and over again. Tears in her eyes. She just kept doing it over and over and over and over and over again until she stopped. And she when she gets done, she falls to her knees, she cries. And she curls her hands. Takes a deep breath. Gets up. Walks back to the camp, all smiley again, but something changed. You don't know what it is yet.
You okay, Aerel?
Sometimes it is good to get things out of your system and replenish it with more tea.
Altair can see perfectly in the dark. And just
So
like looks
good,
at Aerel.
Freya.
With that look of,
So good, Freya.
we will be discussing this later. But like, but like her iron grip on her wife's hand to stop her from bad touching people is just like what's preventing her from. But it's just one of those things of like, we're gonna talk later when she's asleep and tied down. We're gonna talk.
So Freya will actually try to like pull away from Altair for a second.
That won't
She
work.
looks at him and she goes, "I'm fine. I promise."
Don't believe you, but I love you.
I promise.
I don't believe you'll beat Altair's athletics.
Nope.
I don't believe I will either.
Yeah.
Especially yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Then I say, then come with me.
I mean, she'd go where Freya's following. She's just not letting go of her hand.
So I will go over and I sit by Aerel, and I just like lay my head on her shoulder, and I tell her that whatever it was, it's okay.
She just sounds like, She just won't talk about it right now. Not gonna talk about it right now.
Ooh, do you have one of my hands or both?
One. Uh-oh.
Okay,
Oh,
just need to know.
oh dear.
Right. So how would you guys spend the night, spend the evening? Rukhari, you need to find a way to verify this scroll, probably.
Yep. Probably find a historian, library, something along those lines. Genealogist.
Yeah, something to authenticate this. Pekka, you know someone if Rukhari mentions this, though. Rukhari, do you mention your plan?
Yeah, I mean, he'll be like up until 3 a.m, just like looking at this thing and like going like, it has to be a fake. But what if it's not? But it might be, but what if it's not? And somebody he'll just be like, ugh, crap, I guess. Gotta find a historian, scribe, someone to cross-reference, see if this is genuine.
And if it is,
I think I know the being you need. And he might even listen to us.
Well, that's good to hear.
and supposing it is genuine, what will you do then? Will you lean into your birthright and make this country into a better place?
Well, it's not, well, I don't know. I don't think that's something I can,
take us somewhere?
I don't think this is something that can be decided in a night.
Of course not. But if there was to be anyone who had the power and the position to change things on the scale that this represents. I'm glad that it is you, Rukhari, because you are one of the most noble and honorable people I've ever met.
Oh, don't. No.
And you have within you the power and ability to do and achieve great things. We've always
I'm
known
a street
it, all
tough
of us.
from the sticks. I'm not noble.
And that makes you aware of the plight of the people, which is more than any of the others have. You saw the face of the one leading the rebel army. He knows nothing of our land. He comes in from this place of privilege, of arrogance, explaining what is right and taking broken people and absorbing them into being his fodder for whatever it is he's looking to do. You, Rukhari, you have seen people suffering. You have lived among them. You understand their plights and their woes, their strengths. You've heard their cries. You've seen them at their most brilliant. You have honor within your heart, and you can restore Cowling to something beautiful and magnificent. Believe in yourself as much as the rest of us believe in you.
Ancestors, I hope you're right, otherwise this is going to get very messy.
That it will probably be anyhow. But
That's a good point, yeah.
Nothing worth doing doesn't come cleanly.
But with the ancestors and divine providence on, dare I say, our side, we at least stand a chance to reap a benefit next time around.
That is a good point.
Pekka, you know.
I mean,
oh, go ahead, Aerel.
I mean, if it's true, you get a big train throne, though.
Yeah.
Freya's eyes.
Acting a little strange.
Freya's eyes actually clear some. She seems to be acting a little more herself. And she kind of like pulls Altair behind her and she walks over to Rukhari and she hugs him, which is not something she's very fond of doing to others. Probably outside of Aerel and Altair, it's not something you've ever seen her do in the year you've been with her. And she whispers in your ear, if there's anyone in our group, anyone I've met, that truly understands our people, it's you. And she kind of like gives him a little kiss on the cheek. And she goes back over to where her and Altair were sitting and just sits down.
So I'm thinking shark skin for the handle.
He wants that. Pekka, you know from your time in the military that if word got out that the true heir to the throne of Cowling was alive, was there, that had a legitimate scroll, that he would be hunted. You know that was one of the goals of the hobgoblins. with the military to snuff them out. That's why they killed clans, killed people. That's why one of the reasons you left is that they were just killing innocent villages. Now you remember why that mark is so familiar from Aerel. That white dragon. It's just another one of those villages that they had passed through on their righteous journey to ensure that they could stay in power. That's something to probably keep to yourself right now. But you do know someone. You know someone that can verify this. And maybe it's for the best. Maybe, you know, your kin shouldn't be in power anymore. That's why you're here with these people and not with them. But you share where this person is, and you know that it's going to be a journey, a long journey, and the roads aren't going to be safe, especially with a country torn apart by war and destruction. You think that this army, that this elf, this being that you just left, you think that they'll leave you alone, but you're not sure. You have two sides that you're sort of walking the line between, but you know that no matter what, Rukhari is going to need an army of his own if he stands a chance.
Oh boy.
It's all going through your head. This isn't just a simple ragtag band of mercenaries anymore. If Rukhari accepts this, you know that things are going to change a lot. And hopefully you could be there to guide him. But it's sweet dreams for tonight. It's our group, both with all these changes. Altair, do you fall asleep? What do you do this night?
I feel like she is probably the last one to sleep because she is concerned that Freya would sneak off and do something.
Your concerns were right. You wake up startled, and she's not there. Falling asleep. Freya, where did you go?
Nightwing had actually found me again. She came to the tent, so I was sleeping in with Altair, and she woke me. For some reason, Altair didn't wink, which is odd, because usually Altair winks anytime I move. And I bent down to try to wake Altair, but Nightwing told me not to. Told me we needed to talk alone first. That she needed to explain what was going on to me. To explain to me what needed to happen. So I went with her, and me and her were talking. We had a conversation about the events that had occurred. So I'm assuming Altair is going to come and track me down. I'm assuming.
She's waking up the rest of the party. Because like this is bad, and the more of us who are aware, then the easier we can track her down. So I assume everybody's on board with tracking her down.
Snaps awake, everyone. You guys have been on the road long enough that you know Altair, when she says get up, you get up.
Freya's missing. I'm worried that whatever it is speaking to her is doing so again. We have to find her.
Do I see tracks?
Let me roll that. You do.
I think I follow
She
the
wasn't trying
tracks
to
of Freya.
hide.
I see tracks. I say, follow me. I follow those tracks of Freya.
All right.
There's a clearing. The moon shining down. Freya's standing there. As you break into it, a crow, a raven, a bird with black feathers, too large, larger than what it normally is, standing there looking at her. She's just staring at it. Seems like they're talking somehow. But it's back. And you're pretty sure it's going to keep coming back.
Altair grabs her blade and goes to murder it.
I mean, Aerel's gonna do the same. Like, gotta kill chicken again.
Aerel got a fair sword. I'm a little naked over here.
Can you handle a little great sword? Because that's what I got left.
Okay.
Can you handle a gigantic great sword? If you can, here, pull it out, throw it to Rukhari while, like, all right, pull out the master sword. Time to go kill a chicken.
Thank you.
Freya, you see them
Welcome.
advancing. The pull is stronger now that your familiar's back.
Altair is just like literally screaming at the bird, like, get away from her!
Yeah, it doesn't flinch. Just stares at you.
Freya,
Aerel, you get...
like, good.
No, go.
Freya doesn't actually look back at them. She can hear them, obviously. And you guys hear her tell Nightwing, it's okay. They'll understand. They'll understand what you're trying to do.
He's been telling you he's trying to save them. If only you could get rid of the weakest among them.
You know the answer to it. You know what the answer is. It's me. It's me. You know it is. And that's all you guys kind of hear the side of it.
Repeats himself. Get rid of the weakest.
So she...
It's just whispering over and over and over again in your mind. Get rid of the weakest. Kill the weakest. Kill the weakest.
Have we caught up yet to start marking the bird?
Yeah, you guys are all there.
Yeah.
Where do you try and stop them?
It's not telling me to stop them, so no, I wouldn't.
No, but you're commanded to kill the weakest. Despite what you say, despite you saying it's yourself. You just keep saying, I can save them if you kill the weakest.
So So she would definitely get a will save because it would be a self-destructive action. Because if she realizes they're coming with a weapon, she would probably try to step in front of one of their weapons. So it would be if she realized they were coming with weapons.
Altair, you're there first.
Okay. Altair is trying to stab the bird.
You swipe at it with your scimitar. It catches a wing. You see, again, Freya just screaming in pain as it is struck. The bird turns its head towards you. It's just a little bit too far to be natural. Black eyes that, despite not having pupils, are just looking at you, staring into your soul, sending those shivers down you. And you hear a voice in your head as well, talking to you. I'll kill them all. All of them. Bird, the elf, hobgoblin, all of them. You worship Pharasma. I'll make sure they don't see her for judgment. Duskwalker. This one's mine. Turns its beak back to Freya.
Before it does, Altair would just like look at it, and again just has that like her violet eyes are like glowing in the darkness as she is just full of like that pure unbridled quiet rage. You speak of certainties, but but only Pharasma knows what fate has in store from us. I put my faith in the Lady of Graves and not some shallow imposter. And she'd stab at the bird again.
The pain that your wife lets out is unimaginable, you're sure. But Pekka, you did something that weakened it before. It seems like the blade, though hurting it, isn't the key to this. That there's something further that needs to be done.
Well, I haven't gotten much of a chance to sit down and contemplate the occult natures of whatever is going on with Freya, but on the basis that this thing just won't really shut up in my mind, a good solid whack around the head with a "be restored" is probably in order.
Yeah. Shuffles backwards. It doesn't want you to do this. Seen this book come at it before. Freya, do you try and stop him?
What is my command?
Kill the weakest.
No, I mean, so if Aerel's still coming, then I would try to step in front of her blade.
You step in front of Aerel's blade. And yeah, Aerel described this. Pekka, your book. Aerel or Freya has just stepped in front of both of you. Rukhari, you see this Aerel's blade coming down upon her. You're using a great sword, right, Aerel?
No, I'm using my bastard sword. I see her. I was about to swing at the chicken's neck. Then I see Freya. Then I stop, like, automatically. I'm like, Freya, move right now. I promised that I'm gonna get you back, and I promised it's gonna be a little fight, and I might walk through hell to get you back. Please, don't make me hurt you. I don't want to, but I will.
You can see that Freya is actually crying at this point, but you can see also that whatever is controlling her has complete control at this point. Whatever this bird has done.
You'll notice that where Pekka's book came down upon sears Freya's skin, the black trindles receding back from where that light struck. Pekka, you notice this as well. You can smell that burning of flesh and smoke actually trindling up from your book. How many times can you cast Restore?
I believe Restoration is a healing, whatever it's called, spell. Yes, it is. So that would make it 5 times.
Cast it twice. Not certain if this is what's going to help, but you know that something needs to happen. Rukhari, what are you doing?
I think Rukhari would... He's gonna try... Excuse me. He's gonna try and do what he unfortunately couldn't in the Colossus of Rhodes situation. So he's going to actually, like, bring the greatsword around Freya and just hold her in place.
Caught in a bear hug between a blade and a Tengu. Strong musculature. There's no getting out of there. You've been pinned. Aerel, your sword's still pointed at her. Altair, your blade is there as well. Harriet's still whispering, kill them. Kill the weakest. Stop them.
Do I save?
We'll leave that. Pekka, what are you doing?
Having had some modicum of success with the 2 restores, Pekka is going to grab at the dagger that is now in his belt, that was recently given to him with the sign of Pharasma on it. And he's going to use that to strike at the bird.
Yeah, you move along behind Freya, who is pinned by Rukhari. You could see her struggling against him, kicking and screaming, trying to get out. The bird looks at you, his eyes focusing on the blade, not able to move. Describe this.
I move in to and notice that the bird is just oddly captivated by the blade, and in one sharp movement, almost vulgar in its intensity and ferocity, sort of the hobgoblin smoke work coming out in him a little bit more than you usually see. He just drives the dagger into the brain of the bird up to the hilt. As I imagine that there is this black smoke effect tendril seen through white light of the dagger.
Exactly that. Your dagger goes in, striking true. That smoke coming up towards you and then getting carried away in the breeze. But you hear a chuckle just before the tip of that blade had entered its skull. I'll come back every morning, every time the sun rises. You have not won anything, hobgoblin. And your blade sinks in, just smooth as silk, as the trendles of smoke drift away, leaving you with that, Freya going still in Rukhari's arms. Seems over.
So, is Freya unconscious right now?
Yes.
Okay. So, and she would look at Rukhari, and she would look at Aerel and Pekka. My old master might be able to free her of this curse. You, and she looks at Rukhari, destiny has come and granted you a boon. And I would not ask you to put that aside. Nor would I ask you to go alone. And as she looks at the other two. I can do what I can to take care of Freya, as I have always done. But it would be selfish of me to ask that you give up this greater purpose for our sakes. We can do it, and we can meet up with you when this thing is free of her.
Where are you going?
She looks at Aerel and, her gives her, sort of does like a similar thing where she caresses the outside of her cheek, and it's an oddly gentle gesture for her. Her look is very pained and very sad. I'm gonna be going back home. Somewhere I thought that I wouldn't have to, but I realize now that Perhaps I was too rash in my youth, and maybe now I see with the eyes unclouded that I did not have then. It will be okay, my lovely daughter. We will be safe. I will not be without pain, but... And then again, you know, she just holds Aerel for a moment. But nothing worth having is without pain. Such is the way of the cycle.
Aerel starts crying because I'm so close to doing it. Jeez. Like, literally, I'm about to sit here and cry. Mom, okay, but I'm about to sit here and cry.
Tara would hold her as she's crying, you know. And again, it's just that very, like, you know, resolute and stoic. And she, you know, she would look at Aerel and again, just like calmly, you know, like hold her with that, being that pillar of strength. And she would say to her, I trust you to keep them safe. Please do this for me because you're the only one I trust to do so.
Okay. Well, she Lord have mercy, like this goes crying. She takes that deep breath after, you know, she cries and she goes. She feel like, you know, that she's like start changing a little bit, slowly but gradually, but she nods and goes, "Yeah, I'll watch over room. You two come back in one piece and you bring her back.
We will.
I promise that thing. I'm gonna fight it if I have to. I'll walk through hell to get her back. You know,
I
will.
wouldn't accept anything less from you. You are my daughter." And she'd look at Pekka. In the same way that I trust Aerel to keep their bodies safe, so I entrust in you to safeguard their spirits.
The bonds of Wakashikatsu no Kutsu know no geographical bounds. We will return to our former number at some point. And I would be remiss if I mislaid these few worthies along the way.
You are the most brilliant and kind-hearted speaker. Your words move and stir all those around you. Again, there is none other that I would trust the safeguarding of their hearts to. And then she'd finally look at Rukhari. You are our future.
Oh, God.
Lead them as I would lead them. You are their compass and their guiding force. Go forth with honor, because I trust them in your hands. And this is the greatest gift I have to give to you.
I'm never gonna get used to hearing that.
But you accept it because you know that you are the one to lead them.
I anxiously wait your turn, Altair.
she would again give him the warrior's bow. Just that deep siesa of respect.
Yeah, and with that, we zoom out on our group. A year is going to pass before they see one another again. Dangers and trials. Rukhari becoming something. Aerel, a warrior, more confident than we've ever seen her, and Pekka guiding them, being an advisor along the way. But we'll share more of that next session. We hope you enjoyed the game. Please consider following and subscribing to our channel. Those dang onions! Oh my gosh! And join us next week on Friday, 8:30. I'm gonna let everyone do their outros. My goodness. We're gonna go ahead and start with Pekka. Go ahead. Where can we find you?
I'm known as RQ Staffan on the various handles. Have the sheer enjoyment of playing Pekka tonight. You can find me here with this incredible crew every Friday night. Occasional Tuesday nights, you can find me still here, but running a set of, well, it started off as one-shots and turning into three-shots because my players are just too good. Who knows? Call of Cthulhu games for the foreseeable future. Other than that, I'm lurking all over the place.
It's beautiful. Ashely, Freya.
I'm Ashely, and eventually Sam is going to try to get me onto some type of social media, I think, but she has yet to succeed at that. So we'll see how that all plays out.
I'll get you guys all on social media. The zombie-fy you. No, just kidding. Rukhari, Steve.
I am Steve Schwa91 over on Twitter, where I mostly talk about whatever's on my mind, which is usually the natural world and photography. I'm also on the Discord quite a bit, and on here, internally screaming at now being royalty. Oh God. Oh no. Oh no. This should be fun. And just as an aside, thank you so much, DM, for doing what you've been doing. And thank you, Ian, for that lovely cameo. That was great fun to work off of. Very heated, but honestly, that's what you kind of hope for with these things.
Daniel's great. He's such an amazing player, so I was excited to bring him on. Aerel, Brittany.
Hi, everybody. I'm trying not to scream or miss or cry, but you can catch me on Brittany B. Wright, simping for the Darkling and Anthony Bridgerton, as I do, or posting up my stories. And if you go to my blog, I did write about what happened to Aerel's clan, and yeah, I'll be okay. I just need to look at the Darkling again, and I'll be fine. I'll be okay, I promise.
Oh my gosh, I need to go read that. And last but certainly not least, Altair, Jen.
Hi, I'm Jen. I played Altair this evening, and I made everybody cry, which is always a win. I can be found on the internet as Savage Sparrow. My website is savagesparrow.com, where I sell awesomely nerdy shirts, apparel, and accessories. I will be vending in a couple weeks at the virtual HorrorCon. So if you guys are fans of Onyx Path Publishing and the World of Darkness properties like Vampire or Hunter or Scion, like those products. They are all running an awesome virtual convention on Twitch. Definitely check out the boys at Gehenna Gaming. It's going to be super cool. And finally, I will be playing my Sea Elf Rogue on Sunday at the Age of Ashes game that we play here on Penny for a Tale. So check that out too. It's the same continued universe, and you get to see more Daniel.
Cannot get enough Daniel. And I am Sam. You can find me at Scribbling Penny. I will also be at the Virtual Horror Con running a panel on TTRPG marketing. So if you are interested in that, I'll be running that with Mitch, who is Penny for a Tale, and it's going to be amazing. We also want to thank our sponsors for the game, Fantasy Grounds, which you will see on Sunday being expertly used by DM, GM, however you want to say it, Ian, who is an amazing storyteller. We also have had music by Michael Gelfi and Rock Narden before the crash. No music now, just in my head. Links to all of them will be in our show notes where our videos post a week after airing here on Twitch. So you'll be able to find those on our YouTube. And make sure to like, subscribe, check out our Patreon at patreon.com/Penny for a Tale. It's amazing. And yeah, make sure to check out our schedule. Have a good night and get into bed and get some good sleep.